Okay, and in CyberSec for Europe, I'm leading work package 3, that basically is the one that is trying to define the research challenges, the new or the advanced research challenges in cybersecurity. So basically what we are doing is to understand what is the state of the art on the different technologies and methods that are being used in order to solve different aspects or problems in the cybersecurity area, and trying to create some kind of mechanism that identify how to go ahead of the actual solution. So how to improve our solution, or how to target new kind of attacks or kind of problems that are appearing on the different topics of cybersecurity. Just to put an example is, for example, the issue of a new solution for identity management. So basically how to identify the users, taking into account, for example, the new requirement on privacy that users normally are now facing, and also taking into account, for example, the normative coming from GDPR, for example, at a European level. So that has an impact over the actual technologies, and so the idea is to try to understand how we can cope with this, how we can, as I already said, develop new tools, for example, that are making it more usable for the end users, or in some cases try to understand how to share information, taking into account this kind of privacy aspect in that sense. So Work Packet 3 is targeting basically this kind of the identification of these new challenges and new technologies that we can develop as part of the project based on the collaboration of the different partners that already are involved in Work Packet 3. Yeah, I mean, during the first year, basically what we have mostly tried is to identify, I would say, the landscape of the solutions that already are in place, and also how the different research groups that are part of the community of cybersecurity for Europe can collaborate in order to address most of these new challenges that I already mentioned in that sense. So what we have created is, I would say, first a catalog. I would say we call it assets, but it's a catalog basically of possible assets that mean technology, software development, in some case algorithms, in other case new techniques that can be applied over all this collection of challenges that we have identified are relevant for the future years in that sense. And once we have this, also the second aspect that we already have identified is how this collection of results that are coming from the research of the different groups can be used in order to test some of the demonstrators that CyberSec for Europe wants to have during this second year, I would say. In banking area, in the health sector, in the smart city area, in the maritime management area. So actually what we are, during this first year, we have defined basically this kind of framework that where we identify what we are available, what is available from the partners, how they can be used in order to solve certain specific problems, and how this can be integrated on the demonstrators that are going to be done as part of the work of the work of CyberSec for Europe activity. I mean, during the second year, basically now what we are discussing, I mean, and this is going to be part of the discussion that we are having in the meeting that we are having now here in Brussels, basically is to try to increase the integration between the different results and the research results that the different groups are carrying out. So, as I already mentioned, now we have identified these assets, so basically what are solutions that we can apply, but it is clear that in order to solve a problem like in general in the cybersecurity area that are normal complex problems, we need to put several tools in combination. No? They should be collaborative solutions, and this is the main phase aspect that we need to carry out in second year, because we need now to, once we have identified the problems and how we are going to demonstrate them, now also we need to think about how the different tools and the different techniques that we are developing are going to collaborate in order to try to address more complex problems in that sense. So this is the main activity that we are doing during the second year, apart from obviously, because this is a continuous process, try to identify maybe, because of new challenge, because of new problems, new kind of research aspect that will need to cover for the future time. But basically, the idea is that we have these two tracks in parallel, the one that is continually scouting basically about problems and solution, and the second one that is trying to address a specific problem and solution based on the combination and integration of solutions coming from the different partners. I think that one of the main challenges that we need to solve, I would say, is what I already mentioned regarding the complexity of the problem when we are talking about cybersecurity. So the kind of threats, if you like, or the kind of attacks that can happen on any system are getting more and more complex, are diverse, I would say, and more intelligent, if you like. So we need to be able to have the capability not only to react, but also to be proactive on identification and trying to provide solutions that go a little bit ahead of what actually we are trying to solve in some sense. So how to be more smart on the procedure to try to target this kind of attacks and be, as I already mentioned, be proactive on the facing of this new solution. I think is the most important and challenging part of the project. And as I already said, and that's imply normally the integration and the collaboration of different solutions, because at the end the problems are complex. Complex mean different vectors of attacks, and we need to be able to provide solutions to all these vectors at the same time in a consistent and coherent way. Basically, that is, I think, the main target that we need to have.